Today I will be talking about different methods that will help you perform a flexibility assessment test on an individual. First and foremost, before beginning any flexibility assessment, you need to ensure that your client has warmed up properly for at least 5 minutes of moderate aerobic activity, and this is to have a maximum results. First, you will ensure your client's back is straight. You will then instruct your client to sit down and place feet against the box. Also, make sure your client keeps both legs straight and make sure he doesn't bend them. Next, you will instruct your subject to go ahead and lean forward as far as they can with both hands parallel or overlapping. It is very important that they don't lead with one hand. Once your subject reaches over, he will need to hold it for 2 seconds, and then that's when you go ahead and take the readings and measure it in centimeters. You will do this 2 times, so ask your subject to do it more than one time. Once your subject goes 2 times, you take the best of the two measurements and you will use that one to determine his flexibility. Now, the way you score this, it is by the number you get from the box. Some boxes, they have a different reading. Like the one we are using, it is for 23 centimeters, but the readings that we are using, they come from the book and they are for a 26 centimeter box. So you just have to subtract 3 centimeters from the values of the book. Like for example, my subject, he had a reach of 24 centimeters. Therefore, I subtract 3 centimeters from the values of the book, and now my subject, he is considered to be on the needs improvement category. Another way of measuring a person's flexibility is by using a yardstick. First, you want to place a strip of tape on the 15-inch mark of the yardstick. Then you will instruct your subject to keep his legs straight and ensure his feet are 10 to 15 inches apart, and place the subject's feet on the tape. Also, when reaching forward, the subject must lead with both hands parallel or overlapping, and then hold it for 2 seconds while he exhales. Your subject will reach forward twice, and you will use the best measurement. Now, the way you score this, it is by getting the measurement you got and comparing it to categories on this table. And this tells you where your subject stands in flexibility. Now, there's another way of measuring for hamstring flexibility, and this is using a chair. And this is actually used mainly for older populations of 60 years and over. Well, first, the chair, it needs to be about 17 inches high, and it has to be against the wall, and this is actually for stability purposes. Now, next, you instruct your subject to sit on the chair, and then you ensure that his head is aligned with the back. Then the subject will bend his knee 90 degrees and have his left foot flat on the floor. This test, it is also used for both legs, so the same protocol will apply to the opposite leg. Next, you will have your subject go as far as possible, and then he will hold it for 2 seconds, and it will be the best of 2 tests. For this one, you score it by taking the difference from the big toe to the tip of the fingers. So if your subject goes 1 inch over the toe, it is a +1. If he goes up to the toe, then it will be a 0. And if he can reach the toe, then you get the difference. And the difference will be a negative reading, like for example, -1, -2 if he goes 2 inches behind the toe, or -3 or whatever. Now, the last one I'll be demonstrating is for the hip extensors. First, you have your subject lay on his back and then have him relax. Now, what you will be measuring on this test, it is the angle of the leg. So first, you will get one of the legs and you will go ahead and then push it towards them, but not to the point where it is uncomfortable for them. So Now you push it to where it is comfortable, and now you make sure the opposite leg remains down. Now, once the leg is up, you want to measure the angle. Ideally, you want to have a 90-degree angle, which this is good. Above 80 degrees, it is acceptable, and anything under 80, it is not acceptable. And this is how you simply score for this test.